Hello everyone and welcome back to Crayon Code. Let's create a customizable traffic light with just a few lines of HTML and CSS, and by the end of this episode you'll know how to customize and use it for your own project. Just make sure to like and subscribe to my channel to never miss an update. So let's get this started with. The markup for this one is actually quite simple, as we just need a wrapping div, and inside that wrapping div we will simply have three lights like any traffic light usually has, and one less than 3 I++, and each inner div we will simply put the class light. So that's actually all we need for the markup. So now let's head for the CSS. Now for the wrapping class, first thing we're going to put are a few variables which allow us to customize it later, where we have an item size, which is the light size basically. I'll put it with 3 rems, and some spacing, which is running around all the traffic lights, which means that, let's just put 8 pixels here. And the light spacing, which is the margin around each light we will be having. So we have the space between the outer frame and between each light configurable. And we will need a shine size, because each light will have a gradient around itself. And the size for this is defined by the shine size. And we will also be able to customize the direction. Let's put it for column right now. This also indicates that we will be using a flex container. And of course we need some colors. So I'm simply going to put this as an array because I want it to be highly customizable. So you can just put any arbitrary number of colors, and we will later see that it simply will work as long as there's enough markup for each light given in that list. So C443. And now for the really cool stuff now, a usual traffic light has the sequence where red is lit, then yellow lits along, and then both go off and green is lit. And we want to reproduce that sequence. And for that we make a map where we have several states. First state is just the red light, the first one, the upper one. Then the red and the yellow light are lit. Finally, it's the green light. And after that, we will revert back to yellow along with green. And in the end, it's again the red light which is being lit. So we have these 5 states where we can cycle through. And so we need another variable, which is item count, which will simply deriving from the length of the colors array, because this defines how many lights we have. And I want the outer frame to have a rounded border, where we say that the border radius is simply the item size. It should be enough to make it a nice little rounded shape. So let's put a border around it, just that we see it. I think this will be a nice little color. And as I said, it is a flex container with the flex direction given through our direction variable, and as indicated also before, the padding is given through the spacing variable. And we can already see that there is a nice little dot here. So now this gets expanded along the styling of each light. So now for each light which is inside the traffic light, we have a specification for width and height, which is simply the same as the item size. And you can already see it starts expanding. So now we have these 3 lights which will consume the space already inside the traffic light. And we will simply, since we want them to be round, we put the border radius on the same as the item size, so we make it completely round. And the margin which will be running around each light is the light spacing. So initially, let's just put a red background here. Perfect. So this looks already quite nice. And let's give it a border, because we will be achieving with the shine outside quite a nice effect if we have a border running around. Let's put it as transparent in the beginning. And now each state of the traffic light will be one class, and to make the transition from one class to another quite smooth, we will simply set up some transitional properties where I make it slowly transitionable. The background color, the box shadow, and the border color. Yeah, also eased. Perfect. And now we're going to use an SCSS for loop to define the default color each traffic light has, each light inside. So we're going to traverse through all the colors we actually have. And so we make an nth child selector where we say that, okay, the first one is always the first one from the color array. So we simply use interpolation here where we access the nth child selector, and we're going to put the background color through RGBA value where we retrieve the nth element of the color through I. And in the default state, let's make it quite dim, so we just need 10%. And this should already, yeah, I think I messed something up. Let's quickly check for that. Yeah, color, yeah, of course, I forgot the S. So let's see what here again, I forgot the S, so very nice. Okay, so you can see that there's a dim color for each one we have configured now in the colors array. And now in order to also save a lot of typing, we can now use the each loop of SCSS to generate all the state classes we actually need. So we have this, keep in mind, we have this map here where we have the state index and the actual traffic lights which are supposed to be turned on in each state. So that's what we actually use. We iterate with an each loop over the state map itself, and for each map entry we're going to loop over the array which is behind the key. So that's how we're going to generate all the CSS classes for each state we're going to need. So we have a state and a sequence which is lit. And yeah, actually, let's call it also state, where we interpolate the state number into the class name. And now we're actually going through each light index in the sequence of the current map entry, where we're again generating an nth child selector where we interpolate I again. And yeah, each time we set the background color to the nth element of the colors array, but this time we're not putting down the alpha component to 10%, but we will keep it in full brightness as it should be. And we're going to apply a box shadow, which will add some nice little lightning effect, where we say, let's take half of the shine size and a quarter of the shine size for the blur. And of course, it will have the actual color from the colors array, which you're currently looking at. And now let's set the border color to something like this, such that we have a nice little effect. And I may have messed up something again. Let's actually see. I think I have a typo in states where I should have, yeah, here it's missing. Today I have something with the missing S's. So that's actually already we need for the CSS code. And now if we put state 1 here, missing T, we can already see that hopefully. Let's actually take a look at the compiled CSS, because I may have, that actually looks good. And you can already see that here, this one is messed up because the state should be actually on the traffic light. So I put this one and one bracket too early, where we're just changing this one here. And you can see that now the first state is given. So if you cycle through it now, you can see that now yellow will be lit and then only green. And if you take this for the fourth and the fifth state, works perfectly well. And yeah, give it a go in your projects, give it a try, let me know how it worked. And I hope you enjoyed creating this nice little customizable traffic light. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next episode.